Hey, book nerds. Welcome to another episode of Book Talk. And today, I know it's literally been days since we did my September reader review, but today we are doing October reader review because tomorrow is literally Halloween. I don't know how we got here. October flew by. I have just been the traveling woman and I don't know where October went, but here we are. My favorite time of year has just flown past and I am just so sad about it. But I read some really, really good books and then maybe a couple of not so great books. We are basically going to do yes, no, maybe. And I'm just going to tell you very quickly the good ones that I read that I think would be worth your time to pick up, and the not so great ones that I read that don't waste your time. And then there were a couple that I read that are like, they weren't my thing, but they might be your thing. And so, just kind of decide for yourself and maybe. Okay, so the first one is Tastes Like Candy by Ivy Tholen. I'm going to give this one a maybe. Um, it wasn't really my cup of tea, but it might be yours. This was very much gore for gore's sake. I didn't really find that there was much of a plot, and the plot that there was, I didn't really understand. Well, this is kind of a YA, I guess, type book. As the only reason I'm saying it's YA is because of the age of the characters in this book is young seniors in high school, and they are doing a scavenger hunt in a shut down for the night amusement park. And they have been not let in, they have broken into the amusement park, and one by one they are being murdered. And they unfortunately have partaken in some illicit substances before the scavenger hunt has happened, which makes the whole thing even more of a very almost delusional type book to read. It's very, I don't know, I found it very confusing. And even at the end, when we find out who the killer is and why they are killing, made absolutely no sense to me. I did not get it. I was like, what? Like, why? That's not a reason to kill somebody. That's just dumb. But teenagers, am I right? Anyway, so this is a maybe for me. There is a sequel that I'm kind of hesitant to read, but I might pick it up just to see if it gets any better or gives me any clarification on what went down in the first book. So I'm going to give this a solid maybe. It wasn't my cup of tea. It was very gory, but really no reason for it. And so, yeah, kind of read at your own discretion. That might be your cup of tea, but it wasn't mine. Next, we have How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. This is a yes from me. I love Darcy Coates. She is one of my favorite authors. This is one of her newer releases, and this is about a cult when it comes right down to it. A influencer has brought his most loyal and kind of most crazy followers to this deserted island where years and years ago a cult was on this island and committed atrocities and murders for the sake of their religion on this island. So already this island has a history of horror behind it. But he takes these followers to this island, and they're going to party, they're going to drink, it's almost a networking opportunity for a lot of them where they want to meet other influencers and other people in this space so that they can expand their horizons, maybe expand their influence a little bit in their own kind of social media and influence. And it's also this influencer, this really popular influencer, has also created these games. Think Hunger Games. Like, these are very elaborate scavenger hunts, capture the flag, but way more dangerous. And so um, we have horror, we have Hunger Games, we have cults, and it all culminates. Our female main character was a child in a cult, and was also a child when she not escaped because she was rescued as the only survivor of this cult. The rest of them, it was a suicide cult, almost like Jonestown, where they all ingested a chemical and they all died. And then the leader committed suicide as well. And she was just a small child and was rescued. And so she is the only survivor of this cult. She has been invited to this island, and things start happening on this island that are mysterious, but at the same time, they start unlocking these memories from her childhood about this cult that she was in. And it almost has a like, am I going crazy, or am I remembering things, or is this just my imagination, or what is really going on here? And so it kind of delves into her childhood memories, but are they really memories, or is she's just letting this trauma from her childhood make her crazy in this environment? And about 3/4 of the way through this book, it just all goes to hell and back. It just goes downhill so fast. We've got we've got a serious Lord of the Flies happening on this island, and it just gets crazy and horrifying. I absolutely loved it. This is a yes from me. This is definitely a spooky read. How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. It's worth picking up. I would definitely recommend it. It doesn't have to be for spooky reads. I mean, I read it for October, but you don't have to. You pick this up anytime, and it's great. Check your trigger warnings. There are definitely scenes of gore in this book. Not a lot, but there are scenes of it. And so just kind of be aware of that before going into it. Next, we have Ghostland by Duncan Ralston. This is a maybe from me. It's, again, one of those books. There's a lot of gore in it. This one did have a plot, though, and the plot did keep moving. It did keep progressing, and it did make sense to me. And so it did keep you on the edge of your seat. You kind of kept reading because you wanted to know what happened next. But I don't know that a lot of the horror and the gore was necessary at some parts and at some points. So some of it I think was unnecessary. But again, I can see, I mean, I can kind of see why he put it in there. They have um, the most haunted house, the most haunted cars, the most haunted train, the most haunted, and it's all inside of this park, I guess you could say. And I guess they do have little rides and things, but mostly it's you walk through this park and it's a collection of all of the most horrifying haunted things that you can imagine. They have the most haunted prison there. They have a collection of the most haunted dolls, and anyway, it goes on and on. And they have these augmented VR glasses that you wear as you're going through the park, and it shows you the ghosts and the scene that led to these things being haunted. They call it the energy, the trapped energy of the ghosts that you're seeing. And this was one of the reasons why this is a maybe from me, because the technology and the way that this was written, I didn't really understand it, and it drove a lot of the plot. And so I didn't understand like how the glasses were supposed to work. And sometimes they would have the glasses on and they could see things, but sometimes they weren't wearing the glasses because they were broken or there wasn't power or other things, but then they could still see things. And anyway, it was, sometimes it got really confusing for me to try and figure out like how the technology was working, as far as why they could see the things that they were seeing and why they could interact the way that they were interacting with all of these haunted things. So it was really difficult for me to try and understand how all of that was working in this book. Um, I mean, I did not particularly enjoy the ending. It ends on a cliffhanger because I guess there is a second book that starts right after this one ends. I will not be reading the second book. I just, like I said, there was a plot. It is a good plot. It, like I said, it does keep progressing, but it was still not clear enough for me and not gripping enough for me to understand where it's going. And while it is a good plot and it did make for a very tension filled book, it isn't something that I would want to revisit because I did feel myself getting confused a lot of the time. So that's a maybe. That it might be something that you would understand a lot more than me, and maybe that's something that you would like to read. So the next one we have is The Man with No Shadow by Bonnie Quinn. This is a yes from me. I thought this was going to be kind of a folky type book, stories that you would tell around the campfire, that type of thing, which is great. I like scary stories told around the campfire. I think those are fun, but that's actually not what this is. This was actually a Reddit story that Bonnie Quinn put up on Reddit, and it was so popular and did so well that she decided to make books out of them. I guess this is number one, and I believe there's four that are out that you can read. And actually, I want to read the other three because this one was so good. It actually does have a wonderful plot. It actually has a lot of backstory. We actually get a lot of good character development. And it's a wonderful story that ties in a lot of folklore. It ties in a lot of origin story. Where do these otherworldly beings come from? Why are they doing these things? Why are they at this campground? And it ties a lot of that kind of folk story that you would hear around a campfire, and it ties it into this plot line that she has written. It ties it in beautifully. And so you learn a lot of kind of myths and things as you're reading this book about Kate, the campground manager. And it's also, it deals a lot with mental health, specifically Kate's mental health. And it does it in a really wonderful way. She very thoughtfully wrote this, and kind of shows us the growth of Kate. And she's in a very unusual situation. She has to deal with very unusual things, and she was small. And how does that affect her mentally, and the way that she sees the world, and the way that she sees these beings and these creatures? And it's very interesting. I quite enjoy it. It is scary. It doesn't have a lot of gore in it, but there are a couple of scenes that are kind of icky. So just be aware of that. But this is a yes from me, and I would highly recommend that you pick it up. Next, we have Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix. This is an absolute yes from me. You guys know I love Grady Hendrix, and this one is not an exception. I absolutely loved this book. This is another one of those books where you feel like you're reading horror satire, like halfway, even more than that, 2/3 of the way through this book, you feel like you're reading total satire and sarcasm. And just the way he writes, it's so funny and so witty, almost as if he's making fun of the horror genre, and he's making fun of, IKEA, these big box store. And I love the way he writes that. And then for the last third, it just goes bonkers. It's like, what in God's name am I reading? This is terrible. This is horrifying. I'm in the middle of a nightmare. And he just goes from 0 to 100, horror, horror, horror. And he just rips off those, sarcastic blinders, and he just jumps right into the scary and the horror. And I loved it. It was fantastic. This in particular, the physical copy is stunning. It's got illustrations, it's got pictures of furniture, and it's got those little, I swear, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever done anything with IKEA, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with this book. It's got order forms, it's got like little blurbs about the furniture, yet as you progress through the book, the furniture gets more and more horrifying, and the blurbs get more and more terrible, until at the end of the book, you're scared to even look at the pictures of the furniture. You're scared to even look at anything. And it's just fantastic. I absolutely love this book. This is a yes for me. You should definitely pick it up. It is worth your time. Okay, next we have Scaredy Cat by A.J. Merlin. This is her newest book. Now, A.J. Merlin does not usually write really lengthy novels. I would call Scaredy Cat more of a novella. It's definitely a Halloween spooky season type book, and this is definitely right in her wheelhouse. This is a social media influencer. Her name is Scaredy Cat because she wants to be scared and nothing scares her. She goes to haunted core mazes, haunts, like Fear Factory, those type of things, during the season, the haunting season, spooky season, that are in her area. She lives in the Chicago area, and then she either does a live stream or she comes back and she does her review of these places on her influencer page or on her blog, and just basically gives her honest opinion, but she's never scared, and she wants to be scared. And so she ends up picking up a online stalker who says that he can scare her, and she kind of poo-poos it. But as she's going to these different haunts and in these different places, all of a sudden he appears and tries really hard to scare her, and she finds herself getting scared. Now, this is one that I would classify as a horror romance. I don't know if that's a genre or if I just made it up, but this has definitely got spice. This has definitely got spice. And this is kind of, I would definitely call this kink spice. And so be aware of that. Check your trigger warnings. This is not just a horror spooky book. This is definitely a dark romance, kind of a kink type of a book. So make sure you're checking trigger warnings. But this is a yes from me. I love AJ Merlin, and this is again right in her wheelhouse, and she does a great job with this. Last We have Immortal Dark. Oh, and I'm going to say this wrong. Tijist Gurma. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And I am sorry to say that this is a no from me. This is a no. I did not like this book at all. I actually got 42 chapters into this book and I had to call it quits. I couldn't do it anymore. I tried. I really tried because I wanted this book to be good so bad. It's look at this book. I mean, look at how cool it is. And it's just, it's so, I really wanted this book to be good. Look at how cool that is. This, let me read you the author's dedication in this. For the Black girls who've always marveled at the dark beauty of vampires, the immortals look like us in this one. For my Habesha girls who dare to occupy new and wondrous spaces, hold your head up and let them see you. Oh my gosh, yes! I just from that dedication, I was in love with this book. I was like, yes, this book is going to be so good. I'm so excited. Y'all, I'm so disappointed and so frustrated in this book. Let me give you the gist of it because I can in literally less than a minute. We have our female main character. Her sister is Missy, and she goes to unspeakable, terrible, unholy lengths to find out who took her sister and where she might be. Terrible lengths. Okay, keep that in the back of your head. It takes her to this school. Okay, this is a different school. Okay, where humans and their vampire companions live, and the humans go to school to learn about how to be a part of basically vampire culture. There are laws written, there are rules you have to follow, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they go to school to learn about how to be with vampire companions. Perfect. Her vampire companion that her ancestors have always had as part of her house is the one that she believes took her sister. She hates him. He is very upset that she is there because he wants not only her ancestral home, he wants his independence. He doesn't want to be a companion. And he thought that her line had died and there was no other inheritors to come and take this home. And then she shows up. He hates her. Okay. I just told you the entire book. They hate each other. And basically, it's the same exact situation every single chapter. They have some sort of a situation where they are together, and it ends in her pushing all of his buttons and I hate you. Well, I hate you more. Or he pushes all of her buttons. I hate you. Well, I hate you more. I just told you just that, but well, I'm sorry. I just told you the 42 chapters that I read of this book because it's all the same, with the exception of one chapter where I think he's in a lot of pain or something. I can't quite remember, and he's not acting like himself. And so she goes in, and of course, she's just going to rile him up and push all of his buttons when all of a sudden he gets really serious and he's like, I never took your sister. I never harmed her. I don't know anything about who took her. And he's very serious. And she believes him because he's so serious and she's never seen this side of him before. And so she believes him. And she's like, oh, okay. What? Keep in mind, this girl has done terrible things to try and find her sister. Okay, terrible things. And her only lead, okay, the person that she thought, she's done all these things to try and make him confess and And she's done all these things to try and push all of his buttons to make him confess and tell her what he did with her sister. And now she finds out that he doesn't even know and has never touched her and never took her, and she's like, oh, okay. Huh? Honestly, I just, and that was like at chapter, I don't know, 30. I gave it 12 more chapters to try and see if she would like get a bug up her butt. Like, are we going to look for your sister anymore? Like, are we going to, but no, it was just more chapters about them hating each other. And oh, I hate you. Well, I hate you more. I couldn't do it anymore. There was literally no progression of plot, characters, growth, this girl, the vampire, the school, nothing progressed in this book. It was just the same thing over and over and over again. Now, the plot actually is good. Like, it's a good plot and you could really do a lot with it. But the plot has to move. It has to move forward and progress at some point, as do the characters. The characters have to grow, they have to progress, they learn new information, and that kicks off a growth moment or a light bulb or oh, I was wrong, and changes something in them, and then they can move forward and somehow change the way that they're doing something, and then the plot goes forward. That there wasn't any of that in this book, and I'm really sad about it because I really wanted to love it. So you can tell I'm totally passionate about it. If you guys are interested, I usually always write reviews on the books that I read on my Goodreads. I will post that in the description below so that you can check out my reviews of these books if you want to. I am so happy that you have joined me today for another episode of Book Talk. This was Yes, No, Maybe, and hopefully you'll have found some good books that you want to pick up and read. And until next time, I will see you later.